morning, everybody. My name's Sandy from Tyne College, and as part of National Careers Week, I am joined by two lovely ladies, Jill and Kelly from Little Learners Childcare. They are here today to tell us a little bit about what it is expected to work in childcare across different childcare settings, and tell you a little bit about their personal journeys. So I'd just like to introduce Jill and Kelly, and if you could just tell me a little bit about your roles, ladies, and a little bit about Little Learners Childcare.
So Little Learners Childcare, we opened our first nursery in North Shields 7 years ago, and then followed 5 years later by our second nursery in North Shields as well, just a different part. We're both really small nurseries, and we cater for children from 3 months up until 5 years.
I've got a big question that I think a lot of our Year 11s who might be listening, who think they're interested in childcare and they want to go into a particular childcare career later on in life and after school. A lot of them say to me, is it not just all about changing nappies and feeding babies? Is it much more than that? Kind of what would their day-to-day work involved as a nursery nurse, I suppose?
I think the big misconception about being a nursery nurse is that you would go to work and you would play with the children all day. Our job title is absolutely endless. Like Kelly said, no 2 days are the same, but it's not just about changing nappies. It's about making an impact on children and their families right the way from the first day that they step through nursery until they leave us, maybe to transition into school. So it's looking at their development, providing them with extensive experience that they may not get outside of nursery. All of the learning and development that they would take on, hitting all of those milestones.
So it's a really, really important role, and it's not just about supporting the children, it's about supporting their families as well. So we may have some families that they're an only child, so and they don't see other children, so it's a big social aspect for these children. We might support the families in potty training or bedtime routines and things like that. So it's not just about the children, it's about the families as well.
So I suppose you're changing lives, not only of the young people that you're looking after and kind of nourishing, but it's also the families that you kind of, it's overarching, it's across the whole of the family, like you say. Apart from that, what would you say is the most rewarding part of working within childcare?
Probably every single day you find something that's rewarding to something that you do. It can be something really, really small, like someone taking a few steps or trying something new, that foods that they haven't tried at home. Again, working with families. But I think it's really rewarding when you see how much they've come on in your care, over the years. Some of them have come from being really small babies and a leave will go to school, so we've looked after them for could be over 3 years and had a massive, huge part of their lives.
I think that is, definitely when you see them grow and flourish and they're ready. It's a bittersweet moment because they're ready for the next steps and you're really, really, really excited for them for the next steps, but you're sad to see them leave as well. But it's sort of a bittersweet moment, but it's so nice to be able to watch them grow and become these strong, independent children ready for the next chapter of their lives.
Oh, that's so lovely. In honesty, what would you say is the most challenging if someone was considering a career in childcare? Because we've got to be realistic to our young people. What is the most challenging thing about working with children?
You have to have lots of energy, I'll be honest. It's non-stop. It's non-stop, and you have to be
committed, really committed. Yeah. I think to go into childcare, it's got to be something you really want to do and that you've got a passion for. Like I knew at 14, 15, this is what I want to do, and I've done it right away from then. Left school, went to college, and then made a way up in the career. And to go right from the officer right until obviously being a nursery manager, I have to do nurseries. But you've got to have a love of children. But you've got to be passionate about your job. It's not one of those jobs that you walk out at 5 o'clock and you forget about it till the next day. You go home and you might see your flowers are dying on the mantelpiece and you're like quickly chopping the heads off to put in the water the next day. Or you buy a new pair of shoes, you're keeping the box because you're thinking, how many things can you make with that box? It's one of them things. You've got to have a passion for it. It's not one of them jobs that you go walk in the morning, leave at night.
Yeah, we in college use a lot, even with our young people, use the word vocation and vocational a lot. But with childcare, it really is a vocation, isn't it? It's part of your life. It's part of who you are. It's not just a job that you go to. And as you say, you never really switch off. So you've got to really be kind of tuned into it. I feel like I already know the answer to it, but would you both, change your mind? And if you had your time again, would you go down a different path? Or do you think you would definitely always be destined to work with children?
I've always, so right from like back in my day, you babysat for children on a weekend, and I always had the neighbours' children out, pushing them in the prams, babysitting them, and there's nothing I would regret. I mean, both me and Kelly went back to university about 12 years ago. Well, we're both we graduated about 12 years ago. We went back and done early years degrees. So back then, I've always worked in childcare. So from leaving college, I got a job worked on the floor. Kelly's had very different experiences of working with children, but she could tell you a little bit about that, which hasn't just done the college and then straight into a job role, have you?
No, I did get my childcare qualification, and then I went down the nanny route, and then I worked in a nursery briefly, and then I went overseas, so worked for a holiday company and done all of the children's clubs, the holiday clubs overseas, and was out there for 3 years, and had a vast experience of working in summer sun and winter sun. So even I worked a season in Lapland at Christmas and things like that. So amazing opportunities out there. The families that I've nannied for, I've been very fortunate. They've took me on skiing holidays with them. Obviously, I was working, but I had the chance to go. On my time off, I had the chance to go skiing and things like that as well. So very, very, very grateful, and a lot of experiences that I would never
have had. A lot of our young people as well, if they come through, sometimes they can't decide between health and social care or childcare. Obviously, there's a bit of a difference. And when they've finally then decided on childcare, they then just think nursery nurse or possibly going into teaching. But there's so many, and you've just touched on them there, Kelly. There's so many different routes for them to go down. And I think that's really important for them to know about. When you are looking for either new members of staff or even placement students, if you ever had them, what kind of skills and qualities do you look for in your young people and your employees?
I think they have to have a sense of humour. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to have a really, really good sense of humour. You have to have staying power.
Be really flexible and considerate, because it isn't one of those jobs that you're in 9 to 5. There are longer hours. We do work longer hours again to support families. So someone who's flexible and committed, got to be fully committed, and as well just got lots of energy, wants to bring lots of new ideas, and it's got a general interest in childcare.
That's really, really useful. I think a lot of our students as well might be sitting there thinking, well, I'm possibly thinking about childcare. What if you were in front of a current year 11 student who was thinking about doing childcare once they finish and start in September? What would be your advice and your top tips to that person? Go for it.
I think
you've got to be a good communicator. Because we get a lot of people and we get a lot of students who are really shy.
Right.
It is hard, but being shy in childcare, you've got to be able to be. You're there, and you might have 26 children in the room. You need to be a good communicator and have that voice, don't you?
Yes. And I think if they're unsure about going into childcare, is to go, maybe do some voluntary work somewhere. Go and double check if that's really what you want to do.
I think a lot of young people as well is you're not being afraid to get messy. To wearing your uniform. Being a bit grubby by the end of the day. Because that's a big thing for young people now. It's that the image. The image that they have, isn't it?
Yesterday, for example, World Book Day, I was out in the garden with a big coat on, a pair of pajamas and a pair of wellies. I mean, when you do that, you're outside and
another member of staff was dressed up as a caterpillar.
She had a onesie on as a caterpillar. I think you've got to be,
and you've got to have a love for children.
Yeah.
Got to be really, really interested in children, don't you?
You've hit the nail on the head, really, haven't you? It's, in essence, it's just you've got to have a good sense of humour. You can't take yourself too seriously. You've got to be really flexible, and also very much a team player. Well, that's absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate your time, ladies. For anybody who's listening, if you are interested in pursuing a career in childcare, like Jill and Kelly, you can make your first steps with us at Tyne. We start our childcare and early year courses from level 1 all the way up to level 2 and level 3. If you would like more information, just visit tynemet.ac.uk. If you come to one of our open nights, first Tuesday of every single month, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m, and our childcare and early year staff will be here to answer any questions you've had. But thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate your time.
Very welcome. Very welcome, Sandy.